1 in 20 adults in the UK have run short of food and couldn't afford to buy more.
Now, you may have noticed that your basket in the supermarket has got very expensive.
Would you pay £6 for these 2 chocolate eclairs?
There is nothing in Asda that I'm willing to pay for.
I've
Prices
certainly noticed that.
are rising at their fastest level in 18 months with the cost of everyday items, items like chocolate, like butter, like eggs, all on the up.
What in the broken Britain cost of living bullshit is this now?
When is the government actually going to help lower the prices of food in this country?
Has anybody else noticed the rampant food inflation in the UK?
UK inflation prices are fucking insane, bro.
Are we living in a third world country, or are we living in a Western society and so-called top 5 countries in the world?
Let's be honest, food prices in the UK are out of control. You walk into Tesco, Aldi, wherever, grab the same basics you bought last year, and suddenly it's £90 for a half-empty bag. Bread, milk, eggs, nothing fancy. Just survival. And somehow even that feels like a luxury now. According to the Office for National Statistics, grocery prices have jumped over 25% in the last 2 years. That's not a headline. That's your weekly shop. And wages? Still stuck. Benefits? Still broken. So yeah, people are struggling. Not because they're bad with money, because the math doesn't work anymore. You've got families trying to stretch £20 across 7 days. Parents skipping meals so their kids can eat. Shoppers putting things back at the till because they miscalculated by £2. And all of this? It's happening quietly. No drama, no outrage, just quiet panic. Every single week. Today, we're not just talking about it. We're showing it. Real clips, real people, real frustration. You'll see what it looks like when survival becomes a spreadsheet. When dinner becomes a decision between heat or food. This isn't about budgeting tips. It's about a system that's failing people, one receipt at a time. Let's take a look.
When is the government actually going to help lower the prices of food in this country? Because it's bad in the UK. We don't make the same salaries as the Americans do, yet our prices are similar to the Americans. Well, hey, I mean, we're not paying $12 for eggs, but we're paying a damn sight more for food than we were a year ago. And it's actually getting a little bit scary.
So I'm outside the club, yeah, and I got a bit peckish and I thought, let me go and get something to eat. Nowhere to eat. Tesco's. Okay, cool. I'll get a meal deal. £3.85. I'm not sure if I'm late to the party or not, but since when? How much of a deal for a meal is that then? Because, I mean, I still bought it. I got myself a, what's this called? Smoky barbecue chicken sub. Never heard of it. And some big hoops. And just a bottle of water. But £3.85? When did it get like that then? Is the economy's really that bad? Wow. Can't believe it. I'm in shock. Okay, the food prices now mean there is nothing in Asda that I'm willing to pay for. Oh, that's a cute dog. I'm not paying for it. I'm not doing it. I don't care how nice it is. I don't care if I'm hungry. I have definitely boxed this guy in and I need to back up a bit. I'm hungry and I'm not paying for it. I'm not paying for it. If anybody needed to lose weight, now would be the time to do it. And then give me some of your fat because I'm hungry.
Would you pay £6 for these 2 chocolate eclairs? I saw these in a garage yesterday when I was doing some shopping for a friend. Now, personally, I think this is extortionate, and I know the cost of living in the UK is absolutely crazy at the moment, and many people are struggling. But guys, do not fall into this trap, okay? These are luxury items, they are not essentials. Now, I know it's frustrating when you work hard all week. Yes, you should be able to treat yourself to the odd luxury, a takeaway, a night out, and I fully understand that. But the more you keep paying these overinflated costs, the more they will keep them at this price. Here's another example. This steak here, £59 a kilo. Now, it's not £59 for the steak, obviously. I think the actual steak itself was about £8. But £59 for a kilo of steak, Again, a ribeye steak, £12.75. I mean, I'm sure about 2 years ago, these were about £8, an absolute push. But guys, these are not essential items, okay? the more you keep funding the people selling these like extortionate, you know, overinflated prices, the more they will keep them at this price, and the more they're going to keep ripping people off. Now, I know shopping is expensive and it does cost a lot, but to me, steak and chocolate eclairs are not essential items, okay? If you're really struggling, the best thing to do, you know, is get cheaper food. You can get much cheaper cuts of meat. You know, you don't have to buy steak. You don't have to buy fancy cream cakes. You know, you can get like chicken breasts, or, you know, you could get like cheaper cuts of meat. Also with the cakes, you know, you could buy, like going to Aldi, get 2 of their eclairs for about, you know, £1.50. You know, just please do not fall into this consumerism trap, because this is what they want. They want you to spend, and then they'll keep the price, you know, keep the prices high, and they will never come down. Guys, if you are struggling, please, you know, look at cheaper options, but, you know, you've got to make sacrifices. If you're really struggling, then there's some things, you know, you do have to sacrifice and you do have to go without. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Are you really struggling, or have you found cheaper alternatives, or do you think it's now just rip off Britain? Let me know.
Let's start with the basics. You walk into a supermarket today, Tesco, Aldi, Sainsbury's, doesn't matter, and the prices hit you like a slap. A loaf of bread that used to cost £1.10, now it's £1.60. A dozen eggs, pushing £3, cheese, milk, cooking oil, all up. And no, it's not just inflation, it's a full-blown affordability crisis. According to the Food and Drink Federation, food prices in the UK have risen by 37% since 2020. That's not a typo, that's your weekly shop. 37% more expensive than it was 5 years ago. And it's not just random items. The biggest jumps? Milk, cheese, eggs and oils, the stuff people actually need. But wait, didn't inflation slow down? Technically, yes. The overall inflation rate, CPI, is around 3.8% as of August 2025, down from the chaos of 2022. But here's the catch. Slower inflation doesn't mean prices are falling. It just means they're rising less quickly. So if your groceries went up 20% last year and 5% this year, they're still up 25%. You're still paying more. You're still struggling. The Food Foundation tracks a basic basket, a weekly shop for a typical adult. Since April 2022, the cost of that basket has gone up 27.3% for women and 28.6% for men. That's not luxury food, that's basic nutrition. And it now costs £52 to £56 per week per person. Multiply that by a family of 4 and you're looking at £200 plus just for food, before rent, bills or transport.
What in the broken Britain cost of living bullshit is this now? You've all been going on about Asda again. The prices are going up. Moaning about what's going on. Let's go in, let's check it out and see what's going on today. Here we are. Let's go in. Send to the Asda price. They ain't rolling back nothing, are they? Over a tenner now for a bit of mince. Oh my God. In that dirty vacuum packaging as well. Stay away, guys. $3.48 now on your tiny microwave spag bowls. Chicken and bacon pasta. Wow. Your little microwave lasagnas at $3.48 now as well. Just have a look in there. Not very appealing, is it? Take a look at this then. Little box of celebrations. 300 grams. Nearly £6. Jesus Christ. What's happened to these little fry lights? They used to be £1 a piece. 3 knickers now. That ain't rolling back no prices. 6. Mr. Kipling, cherry bakewells, £3.06. That's pulling your pants down. The smallest, Heinz sweet chilli sauce, £3.54. Robbery. Look at this, £3.27 on all your 2 chicken bird's eye things. That is a robbery. Absolute scam. Normal size bag of McCain French fries, nothing to them. £3.49, it's eye-watering. Whopping £6 on your Ben & Jerry's. Wow, that is nuts. And there you have it, people. Travelling Dad's report again, Asda. Still robbing the people. They ain't rolling nothing back. Only your pants. Rolling them down. Jesus Christ, peace out.
We are in such a situation that we now have supermarkets selling insects to support and help their customers with cost of living crisis. Aldi have just announced that they will be selling insects to help with the cost of living crisis so that the customers can afford to buy nutritious meal to survive. Are we living in a third world country or are we living in a Western society and so-called top 5 countries in the world? We are gonna be fed insects so that we can afford a nutritious meal because cost is spiraling out of control. We can't afford to eat and we've got no money to put a decent meal on the table, but we are living in United Kingdom. Am I hearing this correctly, people? Can you tell me, am I hearing this correctly or not? We in the UK are now having to potentially eat insects to survive, to get nutrition, because we can't afford food. Was it not supposed to get better rather than worse? This is absolutely craziness what's going on in the UK. What's your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. See you on the next one.
People are outraged after Sainsbury's have been caught selling ready meals for £10. Check this out. Now, as you can see, £9.95 for a fish pie, haddock gratin, all of these dishes are 10 quid. Now, no wonder people are living in a bloody cost of living crisis. A tenner for a microwave ready meal is absolutely absurd. Now, on the Nectar deal, it is going for £8.95, but that's only £1 off. Now, no wonder people in the bloody UK are struggling. How is a ready meal now nearly a tenner? Now, in the UK, we are definitely going to be seeing in the next few years the day when it gets to the £10 pie in the pub, and when that time comes, that is going to be absolutely insane. But you know what it is? Some people actually pay this £10 for these ready meals, which in my opinion is absolutely insane. Now, these aren't frozen, and I do understand they are like the posh ones. These are, you know, for the upper class or whatever, but, you know, £9.95, bloody extortionate. Now, obviously, I imagine, you know, it's not just Sainsbury's. This is just how much these ready meals go for. A lot of the time, these are kind of seen as those luxury ready meals. I imagine if you go into the freezer, you could probably get one for £1. But, you know, a tenner, absolutely insane.
Has anybody else noticed the rampant food inflation in the UK? In April, I paid £9.40 for 2 organic rump steaks. The same steaks are now £12.60. Because Tesco club cards, Nectar points, etc. are an absolute nightmare for food inflation. As of 4 days ago, UK food inflation unexpectedly rose to about 4.5%. Mind you, the general benchmark for inflation in the UK is 2.5%. Now, of course, there's going to be lots of factors as to why food inflation is high, but I actually do like the fact that that person called out the whole Nectar points, club card prices thing in particular, because that system is so bad for consumers. These supermarket companies are effectively saying there are 2 tiers of pricing, and to be able to have the normal level of prices, give us your data, because obviously when you sign up for a club card or something like that, you need to exchange some of your personal data and they track, you know, what is it that you shop, etc, etc. And I'm like, that just doesn't seem good for consumers, and I understand why some people have actually spoken out about this, including people like Martin Lewis.
People are shocked after finding out that more than 2 million adults in the UK cannot afford to eat due to the cost of living crisis. Check this out. A recent study commissioned by the Mental Health Foundation found that more than 52% of people in the UK were worried about being able to afford food from the supermarket. This also comes at a time where a couple in Devon were reported to not eat for up to 3 days at a time to ensure that their kids can actually eat. I just don't understand how people are living like this in 2025. The UK government definitely have a lot to answer for, because the Mental Health Foundation even conducted a study. The same study found that 65% of people in the UK were anxious or stressed about being able to pay for just general household bills. It's also estimated that 1 in 7 adults in the UK, meaning 7.3 million people in the UK, are actually food insecure, meaning that they have anxiety or stress about being able to pay for food. This is definitely not right. I feel like every time you go into your local Asda, Sainsbury's, Morrison's or Tesco, it's getting so expensive just for the basic necessities, and I don't know how people are living. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments in this one, and if you know any charities or anything, please let people know in the comments so people can help each other during this cost of living crisis, because this is really not right.
You guys wouldn't think that I'm on a budget today, because look at this shit. Yeah, give me. I think this is what happens when you haven't had If you guys saw my fridge is absolutely empty. I literally emptied my entire fridge. When I say empty, literally empty. There is like absolutely nothing left in my fridge. Even my freezer, I think it only has ice while it's in my freezer. My cabinet only has like ketchup, mayonnaise, barbecue sauce, cream, sugar, flour, and what my fridge is, some grapes, a little bit of fruit. And that's basically it. Like, I've literally been trying to avoid the grocery shop just so I could see it. But here I am, doing a big shop and just shit last week. The next 2 months, because I will literally eat everything until it's gone. We will have tuna fish sandwiches on garlic bread, which is really good, by the way. You guys should try it. But yeah, anyway, let's see how much this comes to. Bye, guys.
So, what's driving this? It's not just supply chains or global events anymore. The biggest driver now? Government regulation and policy decisions. That includes post-Brexit trade rules, environmental levies and tax burdens on retailers. Retailers say Labour's recent budget, with higher minimum wages and national insurance contributions, will push prices even higher. Food Foundation. And while some of that might sound good on paper, like higher wages, the cost is being passed straight to consumers. Supermarkets aren't absorbing it. They're adjusting shelf prices. And the people paying for it? You, me. Everyone who doesn't own a chain of stores. Who's getting hit the hardest? The pain isn't evenly spread. Lower income households feel it the most because food takes up a bigger chunk of their budget. If you earn £1,200 a month and spend £300 on food, that's 25%. If you earn £5,000 and spend the same, that's 6%. And it's not just income. People from minority ethnic groups and those living with disabilities are more likely to experience food insecurity. That means skipping meals, eating less, or relying on food banks, which are now overwhelmed.
Oh my god. UK inflation prices are fucking insane, bro. Insane. Too much for me. Tell me why it cost me. Guess how much these cost? Aldi, right? The cheap kind, right? Guess how much? If you think like 50p, no. 90p. 90p. What the fuck? That took mostly all my money. And then, Miss Molly's chocolate. Guess how much this cost? The really cheapy kind chocolate, and it's already broken, but I love it broken. You know how it has on there? I eat it like 1, 2. 1, 2, yep. Oh, someone just sent me a message. Guess how much this was? If you said like, 49p, 39p, how it used to be, it's, 59p. What the fuck? And this one? Guess how much this is? I ate half of it, but it's not really half. But guess how much? Aldi? 59p? That's all my money gone. What the f? And do you know what actually drives me fucking crazy? I saw a video just now. I just saw a video just now of this girl eating so much food in one day, and everyone's like calling her a fat pig and all that, even though you only live once. Why eat what people tell you to eat? I've had nothing to eat all day, right? And people are gonna comment being like, oh, you shouldn't buy snacks. I'm like, shut up. Please tell me I'm not the only one that does this. Which just breaks them up into two. Just to make everyone jealous, you know? You know, these snacks go in like 1 second. But the thing is, what people don't understand is that I fucking walk it off.
What does this mean for everyday life? It means people are budgeting down to the penny, choosing between fruit and heating, putting items back at the till, parents skipping meals so their kids can eat, pensioners microwaving soup in cold flats. It means food isn't just food anymore. It's stress. It's survival. It's a weekly reminder that the system isn't working. And the government? They say they're monitoring the situation. They say inflation is under control. But what does that mean when your weekly shop still costs £20 more than it used to? When your wage hasn't moved? when your benefits don't cover the basics, monitoring isn't fixing, and speeches don't feed people. This isn't normal. A 37% increase in food prices over 5 years isn't normal. £55 per person per week for basic groceries isn't normal. Skipping meals in one of the richest countries on earth, definitely not normal. And yet, it's happening. Quietly. Relentlessly. And unless something changes, it's only going to get worse.
1 in 20 adults in the UK have run short of food and couldn't afford to buy more, according to official figures on the cost of living crisis. Our senior political correspondent Paul McNamara is with me with more of the details.
Yeah, so look, as someone far wiser than me pointed out earlier on, we're 18 months into the cost of living crisis, with no shortage of stats telling us that some people are really feeling the pinch right now.
So after everything we've seen, everything we've heard, it's hard to pretend this is just a temporary problem. Food prices in the UK haven't just gone up, they've exploded. And the impact isn't theoretical. It's not something you read about in a report and move on. It's something people feel every single day, in their kitchens, at the checkout, in the quiet calculations they make before every meal. This isn't just about inflation, it's about survival. And the fact that survival now requires strategy, sacrifice, and stress just to get through the week says everything about where we are. We've watched clips of people putting items back at the till. We've seen families trying to stretch £20 across 7 days. We've heard the frustration, the exhaustion, the quiet panic. And none of it is exaggerated. None of it is rare. This is the new normal for millions. And the worst part, it didn't have to be this way. The system didn't break on its own. It was pushed by policy decisions, by corporate greed, by a government that keeps saying we're monitoring the situation while doing almost nothing to fix it. Let's be clear, the numbers don't lie. Grocery prices have jumped over 25% in just 2 years. Essentials like milk, eggs and bread, the stuff people rely on, are now borderline unaffordable for low-income households. And wages? They haven't kept up. Benefits? Still broken. So what happens next? People cut corners. They skip meals. They rely on food banks. They live with constant anxiety. And all of this is happening in one of the richest countries on earth. This isn't just about economics. It's about dignity, about the right to eat without fear, about the right to walk into a supermarket and not feel like you're gambling with your budget. And yet, here we are, with families budgeting down to the penny, with pensioners choosing between fruit and heating, with parents skipping meals so their kids can eat. And through it all, the government keeps talking about growth, stability, recovery, and as if those words mean anything to someone who can't afford dinner. The truth is, people aren't asking for much. They're not asking for luxury. They're asking for fairness, for leadership that actually leads, for policies that protect, not punish, for a system that works for everyone, not just the top 10%. And if that sounds radical, then maybe we need to rethink what we call normal. Because what's happening now? This isn't normal, it's brutal, it's exhausting, and it's unsustainable. So, what do we do with all this? We talk about it, we share it, we refuse to stay quiet. Because silence is what got us here. Silence is what lets bad policy thrive. Silence is what allows suffering to be ignored. And if there's one thing this documentary proves, it's that people are done being silent. They're speaking up, they're telling the truth, they're showing the receipts, literally and figuratively. And maybe that's where change begins, not with a headline, not with a speech, but with people refusing to accept this as normal, with people demanding better, with people saying, we see what's happening, we feel it, and we're not going to pretend it's fine. Food isn't supposed to be a luxury. Grocery shopping isn't supposed to feel like a financial crisis, and surviving the week shouldn't require skipping meals and praying for discounts. But that's where we are. And unless something changes, unless the people in power start listening, it's only going to get worse. So if you're watching this and thinking, yeah, that's me, that's my life, that's my struggle, just know you're not alone. Millions are in the same boat. And the more we talk about it, the harder it becomes for anyone to ignore. This isn't just about food, it's about fairness, about accountability, about the kind of country we want to live in.